This is take 3. The UPS man just came, so the dogs went wild. First time, my microphone wasn't picking up audio, so I had to fix that. It happens. Alright, so take 3. Beth with Live Good, Live Well. Got the shirt on today. And my new level tattoo hat on. Hey dogs, please cooperate. My friend Spartacus opened his own tattoo shop recently in Dallas, down on Henderson, and he does really good work. I have a pain in my shoulder today, so we're going to talk about sleeping, but wow, I just barely turned my neck and it was like flames coming out my arm. So I recently wrote an article on our sleeping habits and sleeping choices and our sleeping environment, all things sleeping at a very high level. And it'll be published on goodmenproject.com today, but I wanted to do a video about it as well because I find if we don't sleep well, we're not living well, right? And most of the things that cause us to not be able to sleep well are within our control, whether it's diet related, whether it's our physical sleeping environment, whether it's light or sound pollution, or our bedtime routine. All of that goes into sleeping well or not sleeping very well at all, or not sleeping at all. So I cover 11 points in the article. I'll touch on most of those here, but I would also encourage you to go read the article too, because there's a couple of resources I included in there. One suggestion was doing morning pages. So part of a bedtime routine could be to journal. If you find yourself laying awake with tons of thoughts just running through your head, grab a pen and paper and just let the paper hold that for you. Don't hold it in your head if you need to get it out. A lot of times there's been some recent articles I've read about, if we have a pain or a painful emotion or something, simply talking about it and acknowledging it, usually it doesn't resolve it, but it at least makes it feel better, and it kind of lifts the burden. So think of all your to-do lists and projects and stresses and feelings and unanswered questions. Just let the paper hold on to that for you so you can rest easy. Another activity in the morning side of that is called an activity called morning pages, where you just do like a 3-page mind dump. And I have to get Tosca to massage me. This really hurts. A mind dump, and do that every morning. Tim Ferriss does that. The lady that started that is Julie something. I forget her last name. Anyway, the link is in the article. I can include the link here below too. So let's talk about the sleeping temperature. Right now in Texas, it's like the high is 82 degrees today on February 4th, which is crazy because it's February and it's supposed to be winter and it's supposed to be cold, but here I am in a t-shirt with the windows open, and it's really warm and nice out. And I sleep better. Most people sleep better when it's cooler at night. During the summer, I wake up in a pool of sweat almost every night, and it's so uncomfortable because our bodies need to be cold. I've never subscribed to, like when you're sitting in a classroom or something crazy, and it's like 60 degrees in there and you're just shivering and you can't think about anything except being cold. They do that to keep us awake, but it lowers our body temperature and it slows down our blood flow, which makes us want to go to sleep. I've never understood that concept in all of my life, and I think that's probably one of the things that keeps me from wanting to go back to school for anything, because it's so miserable. Anyway, that's not the only thing. I'm not that big of a weenie, but anyway, at night, turn the thermostat down a little bit. We don't need the heat running all night. God forbid. My fiance thinks it's just she hates to be cold, and I understand that because I don't like to be cold during the day, but at night I cannot stand to be hot. Nobody's gonna sleep well to start off with, and it's uncomfortable. And even if it's like 72 or something, that's still a little bit warm now. And maybe it's because I've got a little bit of weight I need to release, and that's insulating me, but our son doesn't sleep well. I could probably plot out some data points about this. Looking back historically, if it's warm in the house, he's not going to sleep, we're not going to sleep, the dogs aren't going to sleep well. So Keep it between like 65 and 69 is kind of a recommended temperature range because, you know, that just, it relaxes you. It like makes you a little bit more cozy and need to like cover up more, which the weight of the blankets helps us relax and feel more safe and secure and those sort of things. So if it's hot, make it cooler. Get a fan. You know, there's a lot of ways to cool it down depending on where you live and what you have available. We talked about journaling. One thing we do for our son is to rub cedar oil on his feet. Some might find lavender more helpful, but lavender is one of the scents that gives Tosca migraine, so there might be an allergy or something there, so we don't use lavender. But cedar oil, he calls it magic sleep oil or something like that, and we just rub a little bit on the bottom of his feet before he goes to bed if he's having kind of a hyper day, and it helps him. He's usually asleep within half an hour, so you might try one of those, or you know, do your research on essential oils and try something that sounds like it resonates with you. Soaking in a warm bath or taking a shower. Depending on what you do for work, if you're getting sweaty during the day or dirty, like take a shower by all means at the end of the day because you don't want to go to bed dirty. Our bodies secrete oil and sweat, you know, more than we realize during the day, and to go and like sleep in that for 8 or 10 hours, that's just gross. And so, you know, just take 5 minutes and take a quick shower and wash yourself off. There's no need to go to bed dirty, ever. Wash your hands, wash your face. I'm a big proponent of having a healthy immune system, but also being clean. If we're too clean, if we're cleaning everything with like bleach and all that bullshit, then, you know, that's doing a detriment to our health too. And if we're keeping everything completely sanitized, then our immune system doesn't have the inputs to build endurance. But also, like, don't be nasty, you know. Wash your hands, wash your face, wash your feet, like just wash up. Our bedding. So we have a duvet, so a duvet cover, and white sheets, and it gets washed at least once a week. We've got dogs that sleep in the bed and on the bed with us. Hi, babies. And you know, like, if it's hot, I wake up in a pool of sweat. Then we wash the sheets. You know, we wash the sheets a lot because, again, I don't like to be dirty. If you haven't replaced your sheets in a while, do that. It's worth the $30 or $45. You can get some nice organic sheets at Target. I don't recommend flannel unless you live somewhere cold, and I don't recommend linen unless you want to sleep in a burlap sack, because that was the most miserable sleep I've ever had on sheets. That was terrible. I know linen is supposed to be like fancy, but it's so itchy. It's just like, oh god, it's like sleeping on like a lace. Ugh. Anyway, I recommend cotton percale. It's like smooth, and you want to keep your thread count right at 300. Anything with a thread count higher than 300 is the yarn gets thinner and weaker. For some people that might be fine, but if you have anything like fingernails, dogs, anything that's not like a smooth skin, or you're gonna wash them ever, those are gonna tear apart pretty easily because the thread gets thinner and weaker. 300 is that's kind of right on the cusp. It's like smooth without being weak and gonna break down over time. So if you see something like 1200 or like whatever those crazy high numbers are now, I would disregard that. I bought some one time and it was I had to throw them away after like 2 washes because one of the dogs like tore a little part and it came undone, and then they just didn't last long at all. So don't waste your time. While your sheets are washing or off the bed or something like that, every couple of months I like to sprinkle salt across our mattress. Just cover it in salt, and that's a really good cleansing agent. It cleanses the energy, it kind of cleanses the smell. Like, salt is a really amazing resource that we have. It gets a bad rap for processed table salt, just like sugar does, but like actual, like, just a good quality salt is amazing. And then just vacuum it off at the end of the day. So I usually do it before work and then leave the door closed so nobody's in there during the day, me and the dogs, and then wash it off at the end of, or rinse it off, vacuum it off at the end of the day. Open the windows, let some sunshine in, let some fresh air in. Just clean everything. It only takes a few minutes, honestly. If your bedding overall needs to be replaced, do that. You could do it for like $100. Again, like pop over to Target, get some nice sheets, get a nice new comforter, duvet, whatever your choice is, and make sure it makes you feel like calm. You don't want to have a bright color like red or like a really crazy pattern. Like, you want to make it like a nice calm blue or some grays or some navies or something like that, and just you want to feel like, yeah, I want to get in there and go to sleep. You don't want to look at it and be like, oh God, it's party time. Like make sure it's restful. This is a big thing. Everybody has the chair or a treadmill or some apparatus that has a good intention, but it ends up just being a clothes catcher. And, before you know it, you've got a pile of clothes higher than your head and nowhere to sit or run on the treadmill. We shouldn't have exercise equipment in our room anyway, but you know what I'm saying. Keep your room and your whole home clear of clutter. The mental stress that having a pile or piles of clutter in our sleeping space, like our sleeping space should be like serene. Think of like a hotel room. There's no clutter anywhere. There's, it's very simple. There's a desk and a chair. There's a bed. There's a TV, which also don't have electronics near your bed. Put those in the bathroom or in a different room in your office. Like, get an old school alarm clock. And this is something we're working on as well. So I understand the difficulty of it, the difficulty and the simplicity of it. But honestly, just get an old school alarm clock and leave your electronics, including the television and your cell phones, out of the room. We don't need the light. We don't need the distractions. We don't need the habit of, right now I'm in a bad habit of, to wind my brain down at night, I'll read BuzzFeed articles for humor and just like, so I consume so much information during the day. I just need to not think about anything for a few minutes, So don't charge your phone in your room. You want to make it as electronic free as possible. And again, I know it's hard, but just make that a goal for the year. If you can do it sooner rather than later, that's awesome. You can get an old school alarm clock that's battery operated, not the one with LED lights. I mean like a true analog alarm clock. And you can get one for $10 or $15. Very inexpensive. There's an airplane coming into land. We live pretty close to DFW Airport, and we're in the landing path, and it's really cool because I love airplanes, and we can see them and hear them coming in all the time. Just excuse me. Another thing is what you sleep in. Oh, let me go back to clutter real fast. Don't keep things under your bed. If it feels good to you, then that's fine. But in feng shui, which we do a bit of, there needs to be room for the energy to flow. Also, what if we need to store stuff under our bed? Do we really need it? It's kind of like just stuffing stuff in a closet or throwing something out in the garage and forgetting about it, or paying for a storage unit. If you have to pay for an offsite storage unit, then how much stuff do you have and what stuff do you need? And I love stuff, don't get me wrong. I've got a pile of leather bags over here that I got out to clean and to go through to get rid of some. And I've got, books back here on the bookshelf and, things, but we have so much stuff. If you haven't watched Tidying Up with Marie Kondo on Netflix this year, get on it. We took out 12 bags of clothing in the first 2 weeks of the year, and it felt amazing. Nothing came back. We sold it all to secondhand stores, and then the rest was donated. So do that by all means. It took a few hours, and it felt so much better. We did it with our bathroom stuff, so makeup and cleansers and lotions and just stuff that accumulates over the years. Got rid of a whole trash bag of stuff, and then some lotions to take and give away at work or something, just to put out in a general, in the ladies' room or something that other people can use. We don't, something sticky. We don't use them, but other people might enjoy them now. Go through all your stuff. Get rid of the clutter, clear it up. Old papers, everything is online. Aside from like a few things, we don't need to have that many papers laying around. We don't need bank statements from 1976. We don't need old electricity bills. We don't need most of that stuff, right? Take a day, take a weekend, take a week, whatever it will require, and clean up your stuff. You'll feel so much better. Dust, vacuum, tidy up, go through it, purge, whatever you want to call it, just like clean it up. You'll sleep and feel so much better. Our stuff holds us back from doing so much. Most people's goals are around travel at retirement, but if you think about how much stuff we have in our homes, it just like holds us down. Like, I can't go because I have to like take care of this stuff, is basically what it boils down to. Free yourself from that earlier and get out of Dodge. Like, go see the world. Go to Timbuktu or wherever you want. Anyway, that's my spiel on cluttering for this video. Do you sleep in clothes or naturally? I recommend sleeping in as few items as possible because our skin is covered in clothes all the time, and a lot of times now it's not natural. Like, this is a cotton shirt, thankfully, but we wear polyester and rayon or whatever it's called, and like whatever our clothes are made of that's not natural, so they can't breathe. And while it serves its purpose, like, our skin is a living organism and it needs to breathe and sweat, and like, you know, it needs space and air too. So consider what you're sleeping in. If you're sleeping in like a ratty old t-shirt, like, get rid of that and get yourself some nice pajamas if you don't like to sleep in the nude. If you like to sleep in shorts or a t-shirt, like, make sure it makes you feel good. And this goes into Marie Kondo's like, only keep what sparks joy. So you'll want to feel good in what you're going to sleep in. You know, don't wear like some old t-shirt that you painted in 1975. You know? So that's kind of like the sleeping environment. Yeah. One other thing that has to do with directly in the bedroom or the sleeping space is keep. I mentioned light pollution and noise pollution. You want to make sure that it's dark enough. If you're not sensitive to light, then if the outdoor lights are okay and those sorts of things, then, you know, that's different. But if you're sensitive to light, get some blackout curtains or some nice a nice set of blinds or something to keep the, you know, just outside lights out at night. But I'm also a proponent of waking up with the sun and being in the natural rhythm of nature and what we have. So I like to sleep with the blinds a little bit open so we get the sunshine, but Tosca is sensitive to the lights, so we close those, but some sunlight still gets in. You might get a salt lamp or a diffuser. Consider those items. The bigger the salt lamp, the better, really. We also have a few air cleansing plants. We have snake plants in our room, just behind our bed on a shelf. So, you know, nothing very disturbing at all. They're very low maintenance. They don't require a lot of water or a lot of light, but they're also very, very helpful. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. So that's kind of tidies up the sleeping environment, right? So the other stuff happens outside of the bedroom. So what we eat, what we're consuming during the day. If you're drinking coffee all day and you can't sleep at night, maybe cut it off before noon. If you're drinking a ton of sodas or any sodas at all, cut those out altogether, and we can talk about that separately. But I'm a big proponent of not drinking sodas as a habit. Every now and then is fine if you're confident you're not going to bring it back into a habitual pattern. But if you're not over that hump and you're still craving them every day, don't have one. Okay? Like, there's kombucha, there's coffee, there's tea, there's all sorts of drinks we can have that are better for us than soda. Most soda is just a shitload of chemicals that is not good for us on so many levels. Tosca's headaches. She used to have migraines a few times a week. She also used to drink a lot of Diet Coke, and she stopped that in the week before Thanksgiving, and she hasn't had a migraine since. And that's a big deal, because she used to have them all the time. She used to have to take medication for them, and now, like, she's had a couple of headaches, but it's from dehydration. Like, we can pinpoint, what the cause of it is, but she hasn't had a proper migraine. So that's a really big deal. If you're somebody that has migraines, I would challenge you to analyze your diet and see where you're pulling in aspartame and any other chemical sweeteners. Okay, that's a big deal. That's something I'm very passionate about. So if you would like some help, some accountability, some just a second set of eyes on what you're consuming, and kind of some lifestyle choices, I would love to help you with that. Because again, that's something I'm wildly passionate about. What are you eating? Are you eating a lot of junk food, or are you eating fruits and vegetables? Are you eating grass-fed meats and free-range chicken and stuff, or are you eating a ton of ding-dongs and pizzas? And not that pizza is inherently bad, but the way that we make it and process all of the ingredients is not good for us. No, dogs, please give me a few minutes. And if you're going to a snack machine, a candy machine to get some M&Ms, I love M&Ms, but they're not good for us, or a Butterfinger, or if you're going to Taco Bell, or basically all of the mass available food is not good for us. We need to be eating whole foods. I don't mean food from Whole Foods, because there's some not so great options there too, but whole foods in the meaning of it came from a garden. It's still got some dirt on it when you get it. Frozen fruits and vegetables are okay too. They've been it's called flash frozen, I think is the term, so the nutrients are kind of locked in, but they're also a little bit processed because they're water, they're cleaned and they're in plastic packaging, but they're an okay alternative to going to the perimeter of the grocery store, to the produce section, getting some good organic produce. Broccoli, carrots, lettuce, potatoes, onions, garlic, like whatever looks good to you and sounds good, learn how to prepare it for yourselves. I can make a really delicious meal with no meat and no bad anything for a couple of bucks and about 30 or 45 minutes of work. To me, it's not work. It's very enjoyable to cut up vegetables and prepare them myself. But if you're in a hurry, work around that. Work it into your benefit. Like, I had some carrots and some dip that I made for lunch today instead of going out for Chipotle like I wanted to. Chipotle is one of the better options for fast food. I eat it a lot. Excuse me. And today I felt, no, I'll have some carrots. So, consider what's going in and on your body and what's disrupting your sleep habits. Excuse me there, my computer went black. And then your sleeping environment directly. Your bedding, what you're wearing when you go to bed, maybe who you're sleeping by. If you're not in a good relationship place, whether you're single or in a relationship and you're just not in a good place, consider that too. That's obviously a bigger set of decisions and thought input and things like that, other than just washing your sheets, but also consider that as, if you're unhappy in the relationship that you're in, let's talk about that too. I love to help people with all of these things. And, I hope at least something in this list, just reading back through to make sure I captured it all, I hope something triggered something for you. One thing about the bedtime routine, creating a bedtime routine: brush your teeth, wash your face, shower, take a bath, if as mentioned, if that helps. Give yourself a facial or a face massage. So much of our body doesn't get touched in a loving way, and that's something that my fiance and I talk about a lot. Is I gave her a head and neck massage last night when she had a headache, and I did this thing where I pulled her ears, and that's just you know, that's just so relaxing. And that's something that never, you know, we never get an ear massage, right? So even if it's just you doing it on yourself, like show yourself that love and care for your body. Our bodies do a lot for us, and we should definitely take care of them in return. Yeah. So consider what you can do, what you can get rid of, and what you can bring into your life, if anything, to make your sleep a bit better. Again, this is Beth with Live Good, Live Well. I've got some Wanderlust tickets on my website. If you like to go to any of the Wanderlust events, there's a link. Just go to the top of my page. It says Wanderlust. Also, CBD oil. I'm an affiliate for My Soul CBD. And if you've been reading about CBD and the benefits of it, go check that out. Get yourself some. You can also get yourself some for your pet. I'm about to reorder Zephyr some, so we ran out over the weekend. And yeah, let me know if it helps you. It's got no THC, so there's no psychoactive ingredients. It's just CBD and the non-psychoactive components there. So again, this is Beth with Live Good, Live Well. You can find me online at livegoodlivewell.com, and I look forward to future videos. Cheers.